Now, in its 11th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Live from Harlem in New York City. It's me, Alex, and this is the Ramble. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it's the strains of Lori Thompson. Hello, Lori.
Hello, my dear. How are you?
Well, I'm okay. I'm fine. You know,
your eye looks better.
My eye is better.
Good.
It is better, yes. And my beard, though, seems fluffier today. I don't know.
That's because you must have used a lovely conditioner.
No, I don't. No, I don't do any of that on my beard. I'm thinking of cutting it down.
Are you?
Yeah.
To what?
Well,
patch?
No, to just cutting it down so it's not. I don't want this goatee anymore, and just the hint of the beard. You know.
Yeah, okay. So you're just going to modify slightly.
And I get complaints from Marjorie. She doesn't like me, going full.
Making out with a guy with a heavy beard is a drag.
She doesn't like me going full beard.
Oh, my gosh. You leave that makeout session looking like you just kissed a porcupine.
Do you know why I'm told David Letterman grew that beard of his?
Why?
To piss off his wife and kid.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't like it. They didn't like it. So the more they didn't like it, the more he kept it.
Sure. And he does look rather Neanderthal with it, I think. But
yeah.
See, I think it would be a drag for men to have to shave every day, to feel that obligation.
That's why, if you ever notice, that's why whenever Letterman went on vacation and he came back, sometimes he would still have a beard and then he would cut it off on the air or whatever.
Oh.
Is that when you spend every day of your life having to shave because you're on television?
Yes.
Okay. Let me look over here where I should see you. Well, I don't know where I see you. Anyway.
Husband just looked out the door and says, "We don't have any."
Anyway.
Bug spray.
So the point is, well, you know what I need to do? That's what I need to do.
What?
I arrange my video here so that, and I didn't do it right. Okay, I just did it so it comes up here like this. Wait a minute, hold on, let me do it. And now you see, I put the zoom in a place where when I'm looking at it, it looks like I'm looking at you. When it was when the other one was over here, I was looking like this.
This is a nice aesthetic detail that you attended to.
Yeah.
I'm just going to reach over and
wait a minute, what?
Get this bug spray.
Oh, that bug spray.
This is the kind you have to spray back because I've already seen 2 mosquitoes. And,
that's what you get for hanging outdoors.
Right. They have AK-15s or whatever.
I haven't been outdoors since Sunday.
You what?
I haven't been outdoors since Sunday.
That's not bad.
And and that was just a short time because we took a car over to a friend's house. So
Well, yeah, you're doing it. I think it gets alarming though when you realize you haven't been out for like a month or something.
I don't care. I really. I don't care. I mean, you've seen this place. Is there any reason to leave?
No. Are you kidding? There's no reason to leave our house. But Rick's hooked on cruises.
He's hooked on cruises. By the way, we watched. Have you seen this thing on Netflix?
The poop cruise? Yeah.
Marjorie watched it with me and said, "See, I told you."
Yes. That's what I looked at Rick and said, "Look what stands before us."
Yeah. But I mean, it was just amazing to me that they had no backups or anything.
I know no one to come and get them.
What happened, in case people don't know it, was the let's see, what company was it? Princess Horizon, I think it was called, or something like that.
Yeah.
And they went out of, there was going to be a 4-day cruise.
Right.
Okay, down to, I can't remember where, Cozumel, Mexico or something like that, and then back.
Right.
Houston, I think, was it Houston that it was leaving from?
I'm not sure of the departure.
Anyway, it was a 4-day cruise. About 3 days in, the lights go out, and it seems as though they blew
Fuse?
a generator.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they said, but everything will be fine. Well, we still have more, and we'll get it all back. And then the lights went out again. And now nothing was working.
Right, including the electric toilets.
Were they electric toilets?
Something prevented them from working after the second big
But couldn't
blow-up.
you just take a dump in the toilet, whether it flushed or not?
Oh, I couldn't hang with that. That would smell up the whole place so fast. And you'd have to look at
You
it.
put the lid down and it doesn't smell.
What about the next time you had to go?
Do you have
Eventually you're going to overflow the bowl.
Do you have perfume?
No, but I have. I could burn something.
You could put something down there. But anyway, it got to the point where people were like, they were shitting in the halls and peeing in the halls, and the toilets were overflowing, and everything it was just misery. And watch it, folks. This will turn you off to doing any cruise ever again.
It will. See, now we don't do those huge cruise lines.
I know you don't like those, and we don't eat, but the idea of them to us sucks.
It's anathema.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but there are smaller ones like we use Azamara all the time. We even know the people there, and because they're smaller, and they can also get into harbors that are smaller.
Yeah.
So their itineraries reflect that the eclecticness.
Yeah.
Which we like.
That's great. And that we could go for. Something like that. We don't want kids.
No.
We don't want kids, and we don't want any cruise ship that has a Ferris wheel. I'm sorry,
Right. You have standards. Yeah, we don't go in for that, the Ferris wheel or any of that water slide, any of that stuff.
I would go for the water slides if they actually went into the water.
Into the ocean.
Into the ocean, and we could lose a couple of kids.
Yeah. If they advertise it, we start with kids and weed them out.
There's one they're advertising on TV, and they have swings that go out over the edge of the ship. Swings.
Well, that would be fine with me if they allowed you to drop.
If I could go and push.
Yeah. Yeah. But they don't.
By the way, there was a cruise ship just the other day where a kid did fall in the water.
Disney cruise.
And the father jumped in after the kid.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll still sue. But he was negligent. He had sat her on the rail.
Oh, great.
I know. What
a moron.
Do.
What a moron.
Right. She fell.
Yeah, I'm surprised the kid's alive. I mean, that's a big fall.
It is. And the chance of hitting something on the way down, depending on where you were.
Yeah.
In the ship. That would be something to consider next time you're trying to get rid of all your young ones.
But we can't find the way out of Manhattan. That's our problem. we can't find the exit. I want to go somewhere. Marjorie wants to go somewhere, and then we sit around going, "Well, let's go somewhere."
Yeah. Well, you went to Paris, didn't you?
Yeah. But then we did that. That was wrong. We did that wrong.
How?
We went for 5 days.
7 maybe.
Yeah, well, here's the reason why. 2 of them, you're sleeping.
Yes, exactly. That's why we always ask.
By the time we woke up, there were like a couple of days left.
Yeah, exactly.
And then Marjorie wasn't feeling that well. Her back was bothering her or whatever. So we went to like the Musée d'Orsay, which I love because that's where all the Van Goghs are and the Matisses and the Monets.
I know of your fondness for the
Yeah. And I love those artists. So it's the Impressionist Museum.
Mm-hmm.
So I love going there. We went there. We lasted about 10 minutes before she had to go back to the hotel.
Oh, I thought you were going to say.
I couldn't walk. I couldn't walk that well. I had the cane and everything like that. But I wanted to go around and see all my favorite paintings, and my Van Goghs. And we got into the Van Gogh room. We were there. And then she said, "Let's go." So we went back to the hotel and slept some more.
Yeah. See, that's it. People need to be practical. Your body has needs. And,
Yeah.
as we get older, those demands, those needs of the body get louder.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we hire, and I don't mean this to sound egalitarian or elitist at all.
Please sound elitist. I mean, we have money now too, so we can sound elitist. So tell me something elitist.
We hire.
I've got this chunk of money, and there's more coming in because Marjorie is selling her apartment.
I know you guys would be rolling in it.
Well, I mean, we're over a certain amount that's considered the good amount.
Fuck you money. Yeah.
And how many years have I got left? I can't spend it in my lifetime.
Right.
So I better start spending it.
Yeah, all of a sudden, like $500 sweaters are like, yeah, I'll take one. I'll take two.
Yeah, one for each foot.
Yeah. Foot sweaters that we got to invent.
But I mean, it really is. I mean, we want to go somewhere, and but she has some trouble walking, and I have trouble walking. But you were talking about being elitist. What do? You hire somebody to carry you? What?
No, we hire cars, and they take you around, and they'll stop where you want. If you want a Frappuccino at Starbucks, stop right now. If you want to look at belts, stop right now.
Yeah.
If you want to go vintage shopping, stop right now. They do.
How's Rick's mobility? Is it okay?
Oh yeah. He walked before I did, so his mobility is good.
Okay.
He's a little older than me, but it's very good for a 70-year-old.
Yeah, for a 70-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm terrific for an 85-year-old. I don't walk at all.
But you're in good shape, man.
I wonder. Yeah, I'm lightheaded all the time, and I'm.
That's because the ganja.
No, it's there's a pill I take every night called pregabalin for the.
Have you checked your sodium levels? Because the more medications you take, the more it drains the sodium, and if you're low in sodium, it makes you dizzy and affects your mobility.
So what do? Eat a lot of salt?
Well, you find out from your doctor first.
Yeah.
And if he says you're low sodium, like if you're in the low 120s,
yeah,
that's the problem. And you can start drinking regular V8, and you can start like slathering your baked potatoes with salt.
Well, I've got blood problems, for instance, but that's because of the leukemia.
Yeah.
Don't worry, folks. I don't have
blood.
the kind that kills you. This is another kind.
Right. This is user-friendly leukemia.
I love it when they say it's the good cancer.
Yeah. Although
good cancer, or maybe I'd rather not have cancer at all.
But Julia Sweeney did a hilarious one-woman show called God Said Ah.
Yeah.
And she talks about what if you could get cancer of the fat? And apparently it's possible.
Cancer of the what?
Of the fat. Of the fat. But it would probably take the good fat, like in your boobs.
Yeah, take the good fat. Yeah. But they always say, like, you got cancer. Oh, yeah, but it's the good cancer. Oh, okay, fine.
That's like the good fat. The good, olive oil is good fat.
Well, I had prostate cancer, and they caught it really early, and when I asked the doctor, I love telling this story. When I looked at the doctor and said, "Is this the thing that's going to kill me?" He went, "No."
Yeah, dweeb.
Like, what are you, an idiot?
Yeah, well, it's good. Yeah, I was thinking the other day, especially talking to you about the experts in New York, I was thinking how I would handle the throat cancer diagnosis if it came down today. I don't know that I'd do radiation. I don't think I would, because well,
if you came to New York, they might have other options for you.
Right.
I read somewhere that kind of cancer you had is also can be dealt with by seeds.
See, that's what I wondered. Yeah. And so it's left me with a little rasp, but I'm only 6 months away from it. So, in the rear view mirror.
Even with a rasp, I mean, you've always had a rasp in your voice. You've always
a little bit, yeah.
You don't sound that perceptibly different.
Well, that's good. I like that. I was just thinking of, I still think about like looking at jobs. What kind of job should I get? Oh, here's one in Houston, for an afternoon person.
Yeah.
But then I realized, Lori, you're retired. You don't have to look for jobs.
Yeah, I don't. I used to look for them. I don't anymore because I know they don't want me.
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, and do you ever go in? Like, I've applied for jobs as recently as 2 years ago, but I went in person.
Yeah.
And I don't think I read like an old person. You know what I mean? I don't think I present like an older person who has maladies. Although I am. But on a piece of paper.
I don't know. You look old and sick to me.
Shut up. Shut up. But they, when they look at my resume and go, you worked in St. Louis at CBS in the 80s, and they're going to know how old I am.
Yeah, yeah. Some people said you don't put down your job on your job listing on your CV. I think they call it. You
Your
don't put
curriculum day.
Yeah, you don't put down any jobs you had that go back further than a certain amount because that will age you.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they can ask you how old you are. That's
they can't. I don't think they can.
But they can guess if they look at a CV and you worked in,
They can do the math.
I worked at KTIM in San Rafael in 1956. Oh, really?
Yeah, exactly. And they can also tell I put software that I'm familiar with on this resume, because I've used a billion of them. What is it? Vault. Audio Vault. I used a billion of them. Yeah. And they can also tell if they're very savvy how old you are by the softwares you have used.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And if you've been in radio since the 90s, which I certainly have, I've used so many softwares, and
there was a new one every year.
Oh, yeah. That's why radio stations are Frankensteins. You get a new piece of equipment, then you got to get another one to go with that. Patch boys to go with that. Yeah.
But you see, everywhere that I've worked recently, like at Sirius XM, I had a board op. So I didn't have to know how to use those computer programs.
That was, when I got into tracking, which I don't like.
Tracking. Explain tracking to the audience. It's onerous. It's an onerous thing.
Yes, it is. Like used to be when I got into radio, I would go in an hour early and I would look at the format clock, and it was color coded. And I would go in and pick the oldies I wanted to play, the old album cuts I wanted to play, and I would know the order in which, There
we go.
I was going to play the hits.
Yeah.
I knew the order, and I could map out a show knowing, what those things were. But when you go into tracking, they give you 4 sheets of paper to do a 4-hour shift, which ideally takes you a half an hour. So you get paid for a half an hour.
Yeah.
And then the automation. Can we stop for a minute?
No, okay, I'll put it on pause for a second.
Really?
All right, we had to pause our recording, but now we're going again. It paused kind of weird. I started and stopped it. So the hell with you folks out there. Anyway, she got a coughing fit, so
Yeah, which don't happen much. That I have the fits. Wakes me up in the night.
Yeah.
But and then you go in and the song that you're coming out of.
Yeah.
You hear a little bit of it, and the song that you're going into.
Right.
So you can say something timely. You got 17 seconds worth of timely information about a new album or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You record those, and then you place them in the software. And how much intro you want, you can decide it however you like. If you want to hit what we call the post, you can use the software to do that. And so I tried to think when I was tracking, how can I infuse as much humanity into this as I can, and so much real life. Your references have to be for the day it plays, which is kind of a discipline you have to get into. Yeah. And it just has enabled radio stations to pay people pittance.
Well, I remember when I went to work over at Clear Channel at the time, which is now iHeartRadio. You were working there as well. I was doing a live morning show for whatever. It was just me. It was no big deal. Okay. But you were working there, and you told me you would do the weekend. You would do 4 or 5 hours of weekend programming. Maybe 6.
Yeah. And at first,
what?
First, I took about 2 hours to do it because it was my first introduction to tracking. And they came at me and said, "You got to put in lower hours. You can't use that many hours. We want you to keep it to
Right. Well, that's what you told me, is that they told you we're only going to pay you for X number of hours.
Right.
And so you had to do it within those X number of hours.
Which I could do.
So, but here's the horrible part about it. Normally, if you were sitting there doing the show and they were paying you by the hour, you would have maybe gotten a couple of $100, right?
Yeah.
This way, they're getting away with paying you like $45 or something like that.
Or less.
And that's what's so terrible about that. You know, it was, if they said, okay, well, you know, we're going to pay you to do the tracking, but we're going to pay you for the time the tracking plays, then it would be fine. But they don't want to do that. They want to save as much money as is humanly possible.
And I'm surprised that AFTRA hasn't been better about...
Our union sucks, okay? Now, here's the other part about it, and this is the part that that really got to me, was that you do this, and you do this tracking, and you don't get paid for the time that it runs. You get paid for the time it takes to do the tracking.
Right, which if you're any good is no time.
And then tracking for the audience is actually, how can I put it? I used to say, when you walk into a studio and it's raining outside, there's a certain mood you have on the air just because you came in from the rain.
Because you share that environment with your listener.
And so they feel that. Okay, they don't know it. It's subconscious, but they feel that. Now, when you're tracking and it's raining outside and you come in and do it, they don't kind of feel that it sounds that real.
Right. And
there's something, even if you don't tell them you're tracking, somehow there's there's
a mood and a sensibility. And, I tried to, I looked at tracking as a whole new kind of livelihood that I had to master. And when I didn't do it much, but I did it at 2 stations. And so I was like, okay, what are the limitations of this software? What are the opportunities of this software? And so I got to where I thought.
But that wasn't what you were trained to do. You were trained to do a show.
I know. I know. But I would actually look and build upon things. Like, remember, I'd say, a few minutes ago we were talking about, and then, I would make a note of what I talked about. Yeah. And so I can say, like it was, a half hour later. Remember, we were talking about, and then use that to launch another.
And now here's the really horrible thing, folks, about tracking, okay, and her tracking. How many stations was that played on?
Oh, I don't know. And now with the kind of syndication they do,
but I heard when you did the tracking, that tracking went out in at least 2-3 different radio stations, putting 2 or 3 people out of work.
Right. And then when I did the news for Don Blue, who's a good guy.
Yeah, great guy.
I also did the news for a San Jose station. I did the news in search for Don Imus, and which I didn't mind. And then I did them for some other station. When I was in Florida, I was while I was on the air at a hit station, contemporary station. Yeah. I was able, while I was on the air doing that, I was pretty confident of that work. Then I was able to track a country station that they owned.
So this is really it's insidious, because what it's done is it's put a lot of announcers out of work. It's put a lot of personalities out of work. And so really you don't get the talent being created today that you once had.
That's it, man.
There will not be an Alex Bennett. I mean, thank God for that. But there won't be another Alex Bennett, because I was able to come up doing shows, entertaining people, doing this, doing that, and creating this show that I had in San Francisco, which I think was pretty unusual,
Yeah, and you got a better sense of how to recover, just everything, how to recover for yourself. If you made a flub, you can make a joke out of it.
What I'm saying is that all those years of me doing stuff came to me doing this one show that people in San Francisco loved. You don't have that ability for people to do that anymore.
I know.
You know,
Sad.
they usually what they're doing is they're hiring podcasters.
Yeah,
You know.
that's exactly what they were doing at the last station I worked for. It was a classic rock station, and there were three live shifts, 6 credits, which is more than a lot of them.
Just quickly to tell you before we have to go here, but this program is on iHeartRadio.
Oh, really?
No, but I mean, it's on the iHeart channel. You can go there and look up, Alex Bennett's Ramble, and they're all my shows. Yeah.
Oh, that's neat. I didn't know it was available through iHeart.
Oh yeah. They don't pay me anything, but you know. But who pays anybody anything anymore? Hey, we just run out of time. Can we do this again next week?
Oh, let's.
Let's do it next week. Ladies and gentlemen, Lori Thompson. Take a bow, Lori. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Now, in its 11th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. That was a little loud, but now I'm okay. All right. Now I'm okay. All right. Anyway, hello, everybody. How are you? It's Wednesday. We'll be off on Friday, you know. It's 4th of July. We're taking the day off. Anytime we can get an excuse to take the day off, yeah, we're going to do it, you know. So anyway, and if you can hear this, what goes away, it disappears. You can hear the air conditioner. It's just been hot constantly. Okay? We only have 2 people waiting to come on here, so we'll do them, and if we don't get enough people, we'll just sign off early. That's fine with me, you know. Let me see here. Let me admit these people here, and here comes Jeff Stein, and there is Charlie Wallace. Jeff Stein has yet to sign in here. Boy, we can hardly even see you, Charlie. I guess you haven't got any light there where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
Fan to the living room.
It's okay. It's all right, you know. And we're waiting for Jeffrey to sign in, but he's not. So I don't know. Let me see here. Scott Bodeker's here, though, however. Let's see if he's here okay. There he is. There's Scott Bodeker. And let me see here. Where else are we? Can you hear me, Scott?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good. I'm glad you could hear that. Okay. Good. So how are you guys doing? Where's Jeff? What is this with Jeff?
I don't know.
Good. Wait a minute, Jeff. We
Can't
don't have
see you, Jeff.
we don't have your picture, Jeff.
I know. I have no picture.
Let me ask you to start video, and it'll show something to. Do you see where it's saying turn on your video? There you go. There you are.
There it is.
Okay. All right. Hi, everybody. How are you?
Thank you.
Doing good.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, it's just really hot again today, and I'm tired again today because of the heat again today. So, anyway.
You should move to Texas. It's beautiful here.
Yeah.
It's great.
Well, let's see. You're in Plano, and you're in San Antonio, right?
Close. Austin.
Austin. San Antonio is where the Alamo is. Austin. And I don't know how many miles you are away from each other.
200 something, huh? 300 almost. Plano.
You're up north in Texas, right? Plano. And you're down in the Gulf, towards the Gulf of America.
No. Gulf of America.
I'm actually in central Texas. Texas is big.
Yeah, it is big. But anyway, so what is the temperature where you are today, Charlie?
We only got up to 90 here because it was rainy. It rained here today.
Oh, okay. And how about up in Plano? How is it?
It's currently 80, but it's probably, upper 80s. Yeah. Really nice for July in Texas.
Yeah.
How does it usually get up to the hundreds where you are in Plano?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Because
Yes.
I remember Texas. I'll tell you what bothered me most about Texas. It wasn't the heat; it was the humidity.
Yeah,
know,
you were in
Houston. Yeah.
Yeah, in Houston, you could not keep a crease in your pants at all. You know,
You could keep mold in your pants, though.
you keep what?
Mold?
Mold?
Black mold? Yeah,
mold,
yeah,
mold,
yeah.
mold in
Yeah.
your pants. Yeah, yeah, you get mold. Right. So where is everybody tonight? Usually, let's see
Yeah,
here.
July 2nd. Wow.
A couple of other people are usually here. You know,
Must be out partying.
huh?
They must be out celebrating the big, beautiful bill.
Did it pass yet? I haven't checked it.
I was just joking. Yeah. The
They
Senate.
passed the
passed.
Senate, so they got to go back to the House.
Yeah.
Well, it's back in the House now,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it passed the House.
where
today
they're
yet.
arguing it a lot now, because there are some people. You know, there's some Republicans who are saying, you know, I've got to go back to my constituency and tell them why this hospital closed down. You know, I've got to make excuses for why I voted for this big, beautiful, wonderful bill.
They just have to tell their people that's what you voted for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And so I was just simply doing your bidding.
yeah, exactly.
You know, that'd be a good way of putting it, right? Yeah.
Oh, there was a representative from Iowa. That's what she said. This is what Trump said he was going to do, and he's doing it. So this is what he voted for. So, yeah. Like,
Did he say he was going to close down Medicaid? I don't think so.
I don't remember him. He said he was going to protect Medicaid.
He said he was going to protect Medicare and I think Medicaid.
Yeah.
I heard Medicare.
Well, I heard Medicare too, but Medicaid as well. But the fact is, it doesn't matter whether you close it down or not. If you close it down, if you make it rough for hospitals to get money from Medicaid, then the hospitals are going to close down in rural areas, especially.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's you know, it's not going to affect people who have Medicare, but if they have Medicare, what hospital are they going to go to
exactly.
to get treatment?
They already had tons of hospitals closing down because they wouldn't take the Medicaid expansion
Right.
from the Obama bill.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah.
So you know, when he was president last time, when he told all the, like in Virginia where they mine coal, we're going to use coal again, and we're going to if you vote for me, and we're going to make power out of it. And when he screwed with the Affordable Care Act, the first state to lose health care was Virginia.
Virginia.
You know,
West Virginia,
and so the states that are going to hurt the most from losing Medicaid are the poor states that voted for him again.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky them.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to be sorry that they made that mistake.
Absolutely.
You know, am I supposed to feel sorry for them?
The governor of New Jersey has already asked for extra money because they're having problems with him. And he's a Republican.
New Jersey?
Not New Jersey, North Carolina, sorry.
Okay, New Jersey's a Democratic governor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. It's one of those N states.
I think in North Carolina's got a Democratic governor too.
Really? Oh, well, he asked for
Yeah,
extra
but they
money.
still voted for Trump.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they did because they didn't want to vote for that crazy guy that was like super religious and super radical, and I can't remember his name.
Elon
Yeah, he
Musk.
wanted women not to have the right to vote and all that stuff.
No, yeah, women shouldn't have the right to vote, which I agree with. But
Well,
As a fry pan with your wife standing behind it, hits you in the head.
Yeah.
I hope there's nobody heard the phone here.
nobody heard the what?
I heard nobody's wife heard what we just said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No. He's hoping his wife is not at home because she's got a big
She's at home.
fry pan.
in the other room, she don't care.
She's in the other room.
Yeah. Well, anyway, and then here in New York, we had the Diddy thing.
Yeah. Oh, shocked.
Yes.
What?
Was he freed?
No,
He wasn't-
He didn't. The judge didn't give him bail, but he got found guilty on 2 of the lesser charges.
Yeah.
And these are charges that are always reserved for black people. Am I right, Charlie? The Mann
Seems
Act?
like it.
Who was one of the main people that ever got arrested and put in jail for a year on the Mann Act? You remember?
I don't. I think the indictment.
Aren't you going to let?
found
We're
guilty on
we're
was
asking a
Mann Act.
question here. Do you have an answer to it? Chuck Berry.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Mann Act was always reserved. You know, all it is, it's an antiquated old act that was like for transporting women across state lines. They don't even have to be prostitutes for purposes of sex, you know, or for immoral reasons, I think was the term.
Moral reason.
Or
Why else would you transport a woman?
Oh,
across
immoral
the state?
purposes. Yeah, because I remember the joke I used to tell.
Yeah.
You know the one. Alan, you don't know the one. And do you know my joke, Scott?
I probably heard it, but I don't.
It's one of the world's worst puns.
Yes.
There's this guy, and his boat sinks, and he swims to shore, and he's on this island, and it's the island of the immortal porpoises. And he is sneaking around trying to see what the island is about. And as he's walking around, in the middle of the jungle is this lion who is asleep. So he kind of tips over the lion, kind of lifts his leg, gets over the lion, and just as he's about to leave, somebody grabs him by the collar and says, "You're under arrest." And he says, "What for?" He says, for transporting across a stately lion for immortal purposes.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
Jay.
Yeah, that's my.
I haven't, in all my years in law enforcement, I never heard of anybody being charged with the Mann Act.
Well, that's because it was usually, as I say, it was reserved for black people.
Yeah, well,
And
we
it was-
didn't have any of those in where I was at. so-
Well, in California, they didn't. You know. I mean, if I took Marjorie before we were married, and I went across to New Jersey, and then I had sex with her at a hotel, I could be charged with the Mann Act.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe the Mann Act has to be with force or fear. Has to be against her will.
Nope. That's not.
No, it doesn't
one-
have to be against the will.
No, it has to be for immoral purposes. That's it. Plain and
Alright.
simple.
Well, anybody having sex with you would be immoral.
I mean, Chuck Berry didn't threaten anybody. He took a white woman and he took her across a state line and got arrested. Why? Because he was with a white woman. So anyway,
Did he get arrested during sex with her, or just the fact that he was with her?
I guess he was with her, and then they did one thing or another and charged him with this thing. You know, it's one of those bogus charges. Okay, that maybe was meant for some good in some given situations, but it was never applied that way.
There was a boxer back in the early 1900s.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's his name? The Great White Hope.
Yeah, he was enormous, and he would defy the cops to arrest him. He didn't care.
But I
would-
think he did get arrested, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, but I think they didn't.
What was his name? I'm trying to remember now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but they called him the Great White Hope.
The official thing for the Mann Act, officially known as the White Slave Traffic Act
Yeah.
from 1910. It prohibits transportation of individuals across state line for prostitution or debauchery or for
Debauchery.
any other immoral purpose.
See?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that we would consider immoral that some other country wouldn't. That's a
I have committed that.
stupid
I have broken that law.
Oh,
Okay.
I think we all have.
You know.
That's stupid. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's a ridiculous law. But anyway, so they got him on that. And that's the lesser of all the charges. The RICO thing out the window.
Yeah.
A couple of the other charges out the window. And it was left with these two very minor, what are considered by comparison minor charges. Yes, Scott?
I think we're talking about Jack Johnson.
You are.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
The Galveston Giant,
Yep.
but also probably known as the Great White Hope, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was huge. They said. Anyway,
Yeah, but that there's your other black guy who got busted for it. Okay, so I mean it's just ridiculous. And I mean, look, Diddy is not a nice person. Okay, I wouldn't even invite him over to dinner. Not just because he's black, but also because he's just a terrible human being, But being a terrible human being is not against the law.
was he a Trump backer?
No,
Or was that the other?
that was Yeezy. That was what's his name?
That was Kanye.
Kanye. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I got my rich black guys mixed up.
yeah. No, but it's just it's so. But the judge today said, well, he's a dangerous man because they have those videos of him dragging his girlfriend down the hallway. Who hasn't dragged his girlfriend down the hallway?
Come on. You haven't lived, Charlie.
Yeah. I tried to tell Marjorie, you see him dragging her down the hall because he's obviously mad about something.
Wait a minute. I think you're picking on Charlie here. I think it's Charlie's wives drug him down the hall.
Yeah, right. But the point I'm making is that, you don't know what the nature of their relationship was.
No, it might be an S&M relationship.
A lot of people have relationships with each other that are entirely based on arguing and fighting with each other.
And they're called Jews.
Yeah. And I mentioned to Marjorie that the only saving grace in the whole thing is he's kicking her with his feet, but he doesn't have any shoes on.
Yeah.
So he could have broken a toe.
Yeah.
So
Or a toenail.
But anyway, so but you don't know what went on before that, and you didn't know what went on afterwards. And I said to Marjorie, I said, sometimes people who have a really just volatile relationship know how to pull each other's strings. And, she could have just pulled a string before that happened, or he could just have been so ridiculously an asshole that he just does that to every woman, But I
think that's what it is.
For the judge to base whether he was going to give him, what do you call it, bail, was based on the fact that he said, well, those videos, he looks like he's a danger to the community. Well, I don't know that none of that case, they showed that thing in the trial, but the case was never based on that incident.
Yeah, so bail is usually set in this country based on if he's a danger to the community or he's likely to leave the country.
Yeah, well, number one, I don't think he's likely to leave the country.
I don't know. If I was facing his charges, I'd go somewhere else.
Well, no, but he's, he was willing to post $1 million bail.
Big deal.
And I just think the judge probably should have let him go. I mean, considering he skated on all the major charges.
I mean, like the charges of inviting Donald Trump over for the parties. Wasn't Trump at some of his parties?
No.
Not that I
when
know
Trump
of.
heard there were going to be 14-year-old girls there, he says, I want to go.
Okay, if you say so.
I thought somebody said on this show a week ago or something, I thought it was you, Alex, that said that Trump was probably going to these parties.
No, I said he probably, if he was invited, he might have gone. Even Diddy had taste and never invited him. Of course, he never invited me either, and that's why I think he should go to jail for life.
Absolutely. I mean, the second worst thing, it could be not for life, it could be just for 30 years. But in that time period, he's got to listen to Alex Bennett's shows all day long over the loudspeaker in his cell.
Well, that would be a nice thing
That
for
would
him
be
to be able to.
torture.
It'd be a nice thing for him to do, you know.
That would be torture.
But anyway, that was it was interesting that the judge didn't give him bail and let him get out, you know. And by the way, you know, he is going to get. They said the most he could probably get out of this is about 5 years.
Yeah.
One of those is already time served.
Yeah.
And then he would get, he would get parole early and whatever, and he'd probably be out in a year or two.
So if
Yeah.
he's got a smart lawyer and knows that, the lawyer says plead guilty and let's move on.
Listen, I think that they were literally happy that it came out the way it did. Okay, I mean, they
Yeah.
would have preferred that he didn't get found guilty of anything, but that not being the case, this was the best possible outcome for him.
It's just like they did with the football player Michael Vick, who was into these dogfighting scheme. He was in the prime of his life, and the team told him, you know, if you go and plead guilty and go do your 2 years as a felon, when you come out, you'll have 5 more years, and we will hire you back as a football player, and you'll make millions. So he pled guilty, did his time, came back out, and I don't know what happened to him.
I don't remember him ever coming back. to tell
Well,
you
he
the truth.
did.
I
He
think
came
did.
back.
Did he?
He did.
He
came
Yeah,
back.
and now he's an announcer on Sunday morning football.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, the Felons channel.
It'd be Fox Sports. What?
well, anyway, I mean, the fact is that I think that, I mean, I told Marjorie was going, well, I think they're going to get him on the RICO thing. And I said, you know, that whole RICO thing is pushing it a little bit. I think, in fact, one of the reasons why he got off on just 2 counts was because the state was just overstating what they wanted.
Yeah.
Okay? If they had never gone for the RICO, they might have gotten him on a couple of others. But, RICO is, what do you associate with RICO? When somebody tells you,
Gangsters, mobsters.
mob, yeah. I mean, and what?
Donald Trump.
It's not a mob. This isn't a mob deal. The only organized whatever was he did have a business going, and these were people who worked for him.
And it was a corrupt business.
No, it wasn't a corrupt business.
No?
No, he's never been charged with having a corrupt business.
He never had anything to do with corruption?
No. No, this was a charge. This was completely on RICO statutes, and that he was running a criminal enterprise.
That's what it means.
Well, that was they were saying there was a criminal enterprise by RICO standards.
Sure.
Okay, but
RICO stands for the Racketeer Influence and Corruption Organization Act.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Yeah, well, it was meant against organized crime, and this.
It came up with Giuliani. I think helped found it, make this act to go after the mob when he was respected.
Actually, I don't think he found it. I think that he may have helped create it, because
That's what
I don't
mean.
remember RICO existing years ago when I was coming up. And it was finally set up to go after the mob, organized crime. Well, was what Diddy was involved in organized crime? I don't think so. Not in that.
Yeah, the RICO Act was enacted in 1970.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Federal law to combat organized crime and racketeering.
Yeah. And it was used effectively. I mean, they needed a law that they could get these guys on, and saying that you get together, you got an organization, and you're going around and you're intimidating people, and you're doing this and you're doing that, and you're organized crime.
The trouble with the RICO Act is a lot of the mafia dons, bosses, that were not. They had their own organization, but anything anybody did in that organization that was illegal, they could also be charged for.
Mm-hmm. Let me just put my face on here, because somebody's thing here says iPad, and I want to make sure it's somebody that we know. And
I bet it's Bree.
oh, it is Bree.
bet it's
It is
Bree
Bree.
again.
It is Bree. Bree, would you change your thing so it doesn't say iPad? Because then I think when I get it that you're somebody who's kind of a problem.
Okay.
You know.
He has kind of a problem.
Yeah. So, do you have any opinion about the whole Diddy situation?
Not really. I do think that Trump will pardon him.
Wow.
Why?
Because he did support him early on, then he didn't, but he's coming back around. So I think he would, because Trump just likes to do things like that. It kind of, if he can, sort of use it to change the news cycle for an hour or two. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you do have a point there, but I don't think he was on Trump's side. I think during his first presidency, but this time out he wasn't.
Yep.
He was in jail this time.
He was in jail this time. Yeah. I don't know. It's a kind of an unpopular case. I don't know if he wants to involve himself in it. Although, if he can let all the people who attacked the Capitol and killed cops and so on, out, I guess he can go along with doing something for Diddy.
He has no morals. Why not?
Well, everybody thinks that maybe they can appeal to the president, on their cases, and I
You don't have to appeal. You just have to pay him $1 million.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's all it takes.
Buy one of those Trump coins.
Yeah, it's just $1 million. It's not a big deal. I'm sure Diddy's got $1 million or $2 million laying around.
There's an article in the New York Times, I think came out today, about the fact that prior to running for office again, Donald Trump was literally broke. Literally broke. And that he kind of made some money back with all the Bitcoin stuff and all that crap.
Some money, made
by
billions.
merchandising his names.
Not 3 billion. Yeah.
Yeah, about $3 billion, I think he made off the Bitcoin.
That's a little something.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
And it's not legitimate Bitcoin. That's the other thing about it. It's questionable.
I'm waiting
he's
for
making
Iran
so
to hack into his Bitcoin and just make it go away.
Yeah.
That'd be funny. That would be funny.
Yeah. And
Get
then
him where it hurts.
And then
Right
say
in the
it'll be,
budget.
and then announce it'll be years before he ever recovers. Yeah.
Oh.
I like 3 million. That sounds a big deal.
You have 3 million?
3
No, I
billion.
said if you guys
billion?
have
We said
3 million
billion.
available, I might take it for anything.
Oh, well, I mean, it's just, come on. He's I don't know. I just give up. The whole thing's a mess. I today I said to Marjorie, all this is the politics of meanness, of being, terrible to people. I mean, when you want to take people's health care away, and yes, when you give out anything for free, like health care, there are going to be people who are going to rip you off. Yes, that's one of the givens in any kind of program like that. But the greater good is to the people who really need it. And the fact that they're not going to get it now. I mean, I've seen people on television now who say, my son has cancer and he's not going to be able to get treatment because we don't qualify for what is it? I mix up Medicare with the other one. Medicaid.
Okay.
And so I see people saying all the time, well, I don't know what my son's going to do. He's got cancer and he
Sounds
needs
like
his
he's going to
treatment.
die.
Huh?
Probably die.
Yeah, he's going to die. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just going to die. That's
so-
the Republican health care plan anyway. Just go ahead and die.
But I mean, it is just the politics of meanness. I mean, why don't you care about the people are okay? That their health is going to be taken care of. Isn't that the least thing we can offer people in this country? And yet, like
It has been for a long time until Donald came along.
No. It was even before that. Before Trump.
Oh no, the meanness has been around for quite a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, just look at the Republican Party.
Don't just say the Republican Party. Look at the fucking Democrats. You know, it isn't everything the Republicans. The Republicans are terrible all by themselves. They do a great job of it. They're the template, okay? But you know, the fact that the Republicans are allowed to get away with this by the Democrats, and the Democrats don't take any kind of actual action against them, is pathetic. So don't just blame. You know, you got to blame everybody. And the only hope left is for, you know, Bernie Sanders. You know.
God help us.
What do you mean, why God help us?
Because I'm not for Bernie Sanders.
Why aren't you for Bernie Sanders?
I think you would give everything away.
I would hope so.
Okay, that's good.
I would hope so.
Some other family.
We have a guy here who's running for mayor of New York, who, by the way, has been called a communist by Donald Trump. And the latest thing from Donald Trump is he's having the ICE people look into whether he's truly a citizen here. Okay? That's the guy we nominated for mayor in this town. All right?
Time to get rid of him. Somebody else will fill it.
Wait a minute. So that's the problem with what's happening with our soon-to-be mayor if he wins.
Zoran?
But Zoltan Mondavi.
Mondavi or something.
Yeah, Mondavi.
He sounds like a foreigner to me.
He's a Muslim. He's a Muslim.
Like Barack Obama was a Muslim.
Yeah, no, unlike Barack Obama.
I know, but that's what they said.
This guy is a Muslim.
He is truly Muslim.
Yeah. And he said the other day in an interview, I think with maybe it was on NBC with Kristen Welker, he said, quite frankly, I don't think we should be allowed to have billionaires in this country. They don't need They don't need $1 billion.
Right.
You know, how much do they need as individuals? We're not talking about corporations or anything like that. We're talking about individuals. And I agree. I don't think there should be billionaires. I don't see any reason for them. What good do they do this country except hoard the money?
How much money should they have?
Yeah, really.
I think, you know, a billion or under if we're going to say, okay, go and have a lot of money. I mean, come on.
Maybe 100 million would be enough for me.
Hey.
I thought it was.
For most people on this panel, $1 million would be enough, you know.
Oh, heck yeah.
But, you know, I mean,
some people on this panel might have $1 million.
Huh?
I said some people on this panel might already have $1 million.
Maybe, and maybe not, you know. But anyway, the point of it is that I agree with him on that, and he says he's a democratic socialist. It doesn't mean he wants to give everything away, you know, and neither does another socialist by the name of Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, he's a democratic socialist. Yeah.
He's a democratic socialist. You know.
So was Hitler, wasn't he? Wasn't Hitler democratic socialist?
No.
No, it was it was a socialist party.
It was the National
Socialists.
Yeah,
Socialists.
Yeah.
He called himself that, but his policies were not socialistic.
No. Well, yeah, he's more of a fascist kind of guy.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, but he got his.
There's somebody trying to get on now called Charles Reed. I don't know any Charles Reed. Do any of you know Charles Reed? Have you ever seen that name before? I mean, if we want to see somebody using a dildo in places where it shouldn't go, I guess I can go to them.
I'm out.
Yeah, really.
I still have flashbacks to that one time.
Yeah. But
Some of us have flashbacks of you being on Amy's show or Jack's show and showing us your wart on your ass. So.
You want to see it again?
No.
It's gone. They took it off.
wait a minute. Wait a minute. I never heard about this. Hold on. But I never heard about this, Scott. You had a wart on your ass?
Yeah, I wanted to see if it was healed.
So he turned towards the camera, and we all said,
And
"Yeah, it's still
mooned us.
there."
How big a wart was it? Did it hurt?
No, it didn't hurt. I don't even know if it was a wart. It might have been a mole. I don't know.
Yeah, most warts don't have a lot of nerve endings. They don't hurt
No.
usually.
But
Yeah.
They're just annoying.
I might have been drinking that time. I'm not sure.
Oh, you definitely were
You
drinking
were
that
definitely
time.
drinking that time.
What do you mean, when you had it removed?
No, and he was
when
on
I
Amy's
showed
show.
Amy it.
You
She
showed
liked
it
Or
to
Jack
Everyone
show.
can see it, he pulls down
Oh,
his
it was
pants,
in
turns
Jack. It was
on the
Jack,
camera.
not it. Yeah,
It
yeah.
was on
Amy
Jack's
wasn't
show
there.
before
Wait,
Amy's
oh, it was
show.
Might
Jack.
have been Jack. Might have been when you were on Jack's show.
Yeah.
Because on
Well,
Amy's
Jack
show,
liked it then. That's what killed him, maybe.
if you did it on Amy's show, we might have to call that sexual harassment or something.
Turn me into HR.
Yeah, yeah.
Cabinet HR.
Well, plus the shows that Jack did and now Amy does are not put on video on the
That's
air.
true.
So-
Yeah, it was just us on the panel that saw it.
That's right.
Which it probably worked better than if you could actually see it, because then everybody's going, ooh, ew.
He offered to pop it right into the.
Oh, jeez.
I don't recall popping it.
No, that was.
I
me.
don't recall that either.
Those things don't pop, okay?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Yeah. So how you doing there in the Far East, as it were? Is that the Far East where you are? Is that considered the Far East? Malaysia? We can't
Oh,
hear
you're
you.
still muted.
You're still
Can't hear
muted.
Muted.
I'm more Southeast Asian, but I guess you could consider it Far East.
Yeah. How is it there? It looks sunny outside.
Yeah, it is. I'm not feeling too good. I think I told you I was in Indonesia over the weekend, and I had some bad food or bad milk, so I've just been laying low this
I
week.
could have warned you. I tell people, you go to Indonesia, do not eat the food, but you wouldn't listen to me. So.
Don't drink the milk.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of chilling out this week.
You-
I should look a little
Milk was
thinner.
bad.
Now, when you say you go to, like, where did you say you went, Indonesia?
Yeah.
Okay. How far away is that?
Oh, it's just an hour flight.
That's what I figured,
Yeah.
because when you say, oh, I went to Indonesia, and you're in Malaysia now? Yes. Oh, wow, that must be a long way away, huh? No, it's just an hour.
Why would the milk have been bad? They don't pasteurize their milk there, or what?
What happened was it's a long story, but yeah, essentially the milk, I felt the milk on the outside. It felt cold. And I put it on my cornflakes, and I had like one bite, and I'm like, I don't think that's right. And I took a second bite, and then I was like, oh, I know that's wrong, but too late. 2 bites.
Yeah.
2 bites were enough.
Two
Wow.
bites were enough to do damage to your gut. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
You know
And
what?
I couldn't believe it. Like when I look back at it, like there's no ice around the milk or anything. They just stuck it there. Like, what the heck?
You usually chill milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what, do they do pasteurization there, or don't they?
I assume they do, but I don't know.
Not that day.
We do
Not
it
that
here
time.
so far.
Yeah. Not in the one I had.
RFK Jr. will probably cancel pasteurization too.
But he's thinking about it.
Oh, God.
No, that's one of the things he doesn't like is pasteurizing milk.
I don't drink milk, so I don't care.
I mean,
I don't drink milk either.
Right.
You're eating ice cream. That has to be pasteurized.
Yeah.
No, it's frozen yogurt. I don't know if that's
Okay.
ice cream or not.
Well, they don't need to pasteurize yogurt. It's got
you know
enough
what I
salt.
don't get about yogurt? Tell me this. Why do they always put the fruit on the bottom? Why
It
don't- why don't they
sinks.
just-
Gravity.
Why don't they pre-mix it? They could do that.
They could.
I hate doing that because I got to slop it up from the bottom, and maybe I don't get as much as I should have, and then I go to eat the yogurt, and it just tastes like yogurt. Which
Stop buying the 10-cent yogurt. Buy the 15-cent. It's pre-blended.
10-cent yogurt.
I take none.
yeah, 10-cent yogurt, right?
Well, we used to go to the store and buy 10 for $1. That's 10-cent yogurt.
10 for $1 yogurt.
How long ago was
Yeah,
that?
like
How long ago
Safeway,
was
you get
that?
these little 2 or 3 ounce things with the fruit on the bottom for 10 cents a piece on sale.
You mean Yoplait or something like
yeah,
that?
something like that. One of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's usually the ones with the fruit on the bottom.
Oh, okay. All right.
I always thought maybe that the fruit would spoil.
If you had fruit on the bottom, that would mean you're the top.
I guess. I guess you throw the yogurt in the air and then you whip it.
You didn't get that.
Boy. You know something? I can pull any joke I want to here, and it never gets me in trouble because nobody's listening. You know, I mentioned to Lori a couple of weeks ago, I said, if we did the kind of shows now that we did in San Francisco years ago, no way we'd survive,
Yeah.
you know, because everybody's so sensitive about everything today. You know, I mean, when I kid black people, Charlie, you laugh.
Yeah.
You understand
Yeah.
I can't possibly be meaning what I'm saying, okay? And yet, if I said that on a radio station now, people would go crazy. You know, I'd have the NAACP on my ass. And quite frankly, I would say to them, well, don't you still call them colored people? That's the part I never could get. Wouldn't you think after all these years, the NAACP would say, you know, yeah, we should get rid of that colored people part? You know? Because if I went up to a black person and I said, oh, you colored people, they go, what are you saying, man? You know.
What's that scholarship? The National Negro College Fund?
National Negro College Fund. Well, Negro,
Yeah.
I don't think Negro is considered bad even to this day.
I think it is.
I think it's
I think it is, too.
I think it's a very funny word, if you want my opinion.
Okay.
It is white people trying to sound good and not say the other N word. All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, you hear these kids calling each other, white kids, Latino kids, the N word with an
Yeah.
N at the end, and they think it's just cool. But I got to tell you, ask anybody that's black, that's a thug, if some white kid called you that, would you pound his ass or shoot him? You can bet your ass they would.
Well, I mean, the fact is that the people who have that word, whatever the word is, whatever the racial epithet is, have the right to use it in a way of disempowering the word. Okay, and that's why blacks use it all the time. It's just to disempower it. And you know.
But that's okay if they want to do it.
No, but they do it to disempower the word, but they're not giving you the right to do it yourself.
We Jews have names for ourselves that would piss us off coming from a non-Jew. You know, I think that's true of all.
Oh yeah, one Jew calls another Jew somebody who pays retail, and I'm
That's right.
telling you that's it. You know, you paid retail for that? What kind of Jew are you? You know.
Right. That's right.
Oh man, you know. So, as a Jew, Alan, you are a Jew, right?
Yeah.
And Jeff, you're a Jew. How do you feel about Trump telling us that Harvard is anti-Semitic? Don't we have the job of saying when something's anti-Semitic, but
I
not
agree,
this
Harvard.
Gentile asshole?
No, I agree. Harvard's anti-Semitic.
Why?
They have a lot of problems on campus there.
Like
And they're
what?
trying
Like what?
to get them under control.
Chairman.
The chairman's Jewish.
So what? He admitted on live TV like 4 weeks ago that they have a problem there.
They have had problems over the years.
Okay, had, but you know.
You know, like you're going to tell me there were any Jews who were going to the military academy that Trump went to?
Trump went to a military academy?
Yes.
Oh, you mean to make an announcement? He was
No,
never
in high
involved.
school.
In high school, he went to
Yeah,
the
in
military
high school.
academy.
Really?
That's where he went to high school. Yeah.
Because his dad hated him.
you should
He
really-
shipped him off to military school.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really.
you really should get to know the people you hate.
Yeah, come on.
You know,
Alex.
in order to talk about them, you should know all about them. And that's one of the major things in his life is that he went to a military academy. That's why he salutes so well. It's the only thing he does well with the
He actually
military.
does better at
Yep.
that than most presidents do.
Yeah, because he went to a military academy and he's used to it. You know, but
I don't know how well he did there, but
No, because he threatened to sue into oblivion anybody that ever released any of his grades.
now the other big story today is that CBS is buckled under and is paying Trump $16 million. Is it 16? Yeah, $16 million dollars
16, something like
to
that.
make the whole 60 Minutes thing go away.
With Kamala.
And
he
everybody,
wanted 100 million.
no, 16 million.
But no, he
16 million.
wanted
Oh,
100.
no, he wanted 2 billion, and then I think he raised it to 3 billion. Yeah,
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, and
But I think
and
they
people,
offered him or settled on 16 today.
yeah, but the point was that everybody says she should have never. Sherry Redstone should have never done it.
No, he had no case in court.
He had no case in court. That if it went to court, it was going to get thrown out. But she just wanted to get over and done with so she can sell CBS.
Yeah.
And the fact is that the rest of the industry said, you really did something terrible here because you let him get away with something. You let him get away with bribery. You know, you're literally paying him a bribe to go away.
Yep.
And you shouldn't have done that. And the people at 60 Minutes who work at 60 Minutes are incensed about this. As well they should be. Hell, I'm
Does
incensed
Paramount
about it.
pay for it?
What?
It says on the news. It says the New York Times. It says Paramount to pay Trump 16 million.
Well,
to
that's
settle.
Paramount owns CBS.
Paramount
okay.
owns CBS. Paramount,
Oh, well,
it's
that's why.
Viacom, actually.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just reading the New York Times caption here.
Yeah, well, CBS is Paramount, and Paramount is Viacom. So,
Okay.
you know. But now, if she thinks this is going to make it all go away, she can now sell this thing to what is it, Riverdance or whatever the name of that company is. And I think he's still not going to let her do it. You know?
No, he doesn't keep his word anyway. So
You know, so I mean, but it's horrible. It's just horrible. And the people at 60 Minutes are so upset by it. And it was all
Couple of
over,
people quit.
in case people aren't aware of what the whole thing was over, is he got all pissy about Kamala Harris on 60 Minutes because they edited her interview. Well, they edit every interview. They would edit his interview if he was offered a spot on
Yeah.
that episode, but he turned it down. But then he said, "Oh, you edited it to make her look good." Oh, wait a minute. They edited it for time, and there was no prejudice in the way they edited it. If you watched it, you wouldn't know what was left in and what was cut out. You know, and they would probably do just the same thing with him. You know, try and just make it into a good interview that fit within. They call it 60 Minutes for a reason, so you know how long it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be 5 hours, you know. And so he sued them for $2 billion, and then I think later on it got to $3 billion for ruining his chances to become president, which of course he won, so that charges out the window. And it was just terrible. It was just terrible, and she went along with it. She's kowtowed to it.
yep.
I think Paramount would rather have paid the $3 billion and not had him as president.
Yeah.
No.
And that wouldn't stop him from being president, and they wouldn't want to pay him $3 billion.
Right.
Why? I don't want to see him pay him, $16 million,
I know.
and that's nothing. Okay, I mean, by network standards. And in many cases, it's worth it to make a suit go away if the suit has merit and you're taking a chance of losing it. But there were people in the industry who said, there's no way Trump's going to win this. You know, it's impossible.
Yeah,
And the only
well,
reason she settled for $16 million is because they put it into a, what do you call it, court, where,
Arbitration?
Kangaroo?
the arbitration, and the arbitrator said, 16 million. So she said, okay. You know, she should never let it go to arbitration. She said, go ahead, sue me. You know?
You never know what a courtroom's going to do. So
No.
arbitration
In
is
this
not a
case,
bad
you would
thing.
know exactly. It wouldn't even get to a courtroom.
No.
This case had no, according to most legal people that I've seen that know about the law.
I haven't followed it that
they're-
closely.
well, then don't talk about it. The fact is that, you know, I mean, it was just a unwinnable case on his part, and she should have seen it all the way. Just said, "Come on, keep coming ahead," you know, because you're not going to even get it past the initial part. You know, the initial.
Yeah.
Wasn't he going to try to sue Harvard or something too?
Oh,
Harvard?
anyway, he's suing.
Yeah,
everybody.
he's suing everybody.
Yeah,
It's
come on,
making.
do it.
We're beginning to believe what he's got out for Harvard is they probably turned him down when he wanted to go
Yeah.
to Harvard.
I think they turned down Barron.
Did they
That's
turn
what it
down
was. They
Barron?
turned
Barron?
out
I heard.
Barron.
Barron, the boy, yeah, big tall boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't.
I
that's
hear,
what I've heard.
I
don't
hear,
know.
I hear
It's all
Barron.
hearsay.
I hear
Hearsay,
Barron's.
hearsay.
I hear Barron's turning into a real asshole.
Yeah, that's what I heard too.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's
He
made
was
a
running
he's made
the
about
family.
400 million on Bitcoin already himself. So he's
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
for him. He's what 18, 19?
Yep.
Is he that old? I think he's. I
Yeah, he's
thought-
over 18 now.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he's an adult, I think. So you can talk about him
Yeah.
legally,
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
illegally, whatever. I don't know.
Man, well, you know, I mean, he's tall. Man, is he tall?
6'9", I think. Yeah.
6'9".
I think, yeah, six. I thought 6.
Why doesn't he go to a black college and learn how to play basketball?
He can't jump. He can't jump.
Oh,
White guy.
And he can't make the
those
pigment.
gold shoes that weighed him down.
Yeah.
He can't make the pigmentation, you know. So, oh boy, you know, it's all, isn't it? It's hilarious.
It is.
And what was it? Was any other news today that was major? Well, of course, we got the big, wonderful, terrific, extraordinary, we love it bill.
That hasn't passed though. It's only gone from the House to the Senate and back to the House now.
Yeah.
House can only afford 3 votes, I guess, is what it said
Yeah.
in the news, and that's pretty tight. And right now, it's not the Democrats that are holding it up.
Well,
it's
they've got
progressive Republicans.
they're lacking 3 votes on the Republican side, so now
Oh,
they
no,
can
but-
still win it,
Yeah, I guess.
but only if I think J.D. Vance votes or something.
No, that was the Senate.
That's the Senate.
Senate only. Vance has no.
Yeah,
control.
Vance has
Senate was
mostly in the House.
50-50.
Okay, so here it's going to be 50. Well,
No.
actually, this
No,
would
no.
make it what?
In the House, it's like
It's 218 to 215
15.
or something like that. So they've only got 3 vote majority.
That's right.
Okay, so I mean, all I'm saying is, I mean, I would talk to a lot of these Republicans and say, you know, you got to go back to your constituency, and you got to tell them why you voted for this thing, and they're gonna, you know, your people are going to feel the brunt of this. There's no
I
question
like what
about it.
Musk is doing.
Hmm?
He says he's telling the people in Congress, you vote for this bill, I will make sure that you're out of office. I will give all kinds of money to your competitor.
Well, now Elon Musk is saying he's going
Yeah.
to give money to all the people who vote against it, or the opponents of those who vote
Can't make
for
up
it.
his mind.
Well, he doesn't like the big, wonderful bill. He thinks the
No.
bill is wrong.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. He's saying that he's going to give money to the Democrats to run against these people that are voting positively.
Or he's just going to give it to other Republicans to primary these guys.
It's a primary.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Okay.
Yeah. And I got to tell you, I mean, if I'm going to compare the amount of money Donald Trump has and even the United States has in spare change, I'll take Musk's any day. Even with the 15% that his sales are down, he's had 15% less shipments in this quarter than he's had in the last quarter, which is good. You know, he's going to have to suffer for his sins.
I hope so.
Well, I would imagine so. It's really nice.
I would. I mean, could you imagine having to work next to Trump or ride in the same car with him? That's suffering for your sins.
But you know what they did is they made sure that the Medicaid cuts wouldn't kick in until after the midterms.
Yes, yes, and they ain't stupid.
Uh-huh.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It won't go in
Right.
next year. It'll be after. It'll be 2027 or whatever. So
That way they'll get
People
more
won't be
stupid
feeling it.
Republicans to vote for him.
What'd you say?
That way they'll get more stupid Republicans to vote for him.
yeah.
Let them. Okay. That's cool.
Boy, these people are terrific, aren't they? They're just
yeah.
the best. Gotta
It
love
was like
them.
those 2017 tax cuts. You know, all the tax cuts he gave for the average person, they sunsetted after the 2020 election.
Right.
They did?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. All those tax cuts, the $250 tax cut I got, that's
Woo.
gone.
Woo. Where'd you spend all that money, Charlie?
Went out on the town partying.
Well, I got to say something, and I think you said it too, Alan. I looked today at my Fidelity account where I have all my stocks. Okay? Somebody else is handling it for me, but I checked it today, and I'm making money.
No, mine. Yeah. I don't understand it with all the talk of tariffs and all this.
Well, I mean, no, but the stocks went down, but somehow I have actually more in my Fidelity now than I had when I first put the money in.
Oh yeah.
I have more in it since he took office, a substantial amount more, like $50,000 more, between my Fidelity and Morgan Stanley accounts. Yes.
Well, the difference between I think it was 3 months ago and now,
Oh yeah.
I made about 60 grand.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Where'd that come from?
Redistribute that in Gabnet bucks.
Yeah, right.
Right.
You can all have a little bit of it, okay? I just want to show you how much I care about you.
Yeah.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Yeah, come chase me down.
Why don't you change it to something more modern like Gabnet Bitcoin?
Gabnet Bitcoin. I didn't think about that. I probably could start a Gabnet Bitcoin without even trying, right? Do I have
Absolutely.
to be?
Oh, I'd buy
wait a
one.
minute. Do I have to be regulated in any way to do that?
No?
Jeff says no. I don't follow it. I don't know.
That's the whole
Doesn't
purpose of
seem like they're
Bitcoin. No.
regulated.
Maybe I'll do Gabnet Bitcoin. How do
You can make Jeff the chairman, and that way if
I would
there's
do
any
Gabnet
laws
Bitcoin
broken,
if
they'll take you up.
I would do Bitcoin Gabnet Bitcoin if it wasn't only for one reason. I don't understand how Bitcoin works. I have no idea, and nobody's been able to explain it to me. It's vapor money,
Hocus pocus.
but it's vapor money.
Yep.
I mean, where do I? Can I? Okay, so I've got $100,000 in Bitcoin. How do I get that $100,000 in cash?
Go to a Bitcoin trader.
You just trade it. You sell it.
I sell it, and then I get the cash.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
If you want, not hopefully. If you want it, you get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess. I have no idea. I have no idea how Bitcoin works, and nobody's been able to
Why
accurately
don't you
describe it
send
to
Where's
me.
it come from? I can't figure out
He's an
where it comes
expert.
from.
You know, I mean, I guess I'm old-fashioned. I got $1 in my hand. I got $1. You know, and I can take $1 down to the
You
grocery
don't
store
hold all the
and
money that you have in your hand. The money that's in Fidelity is like in the air right now too,
yes, but I can cash it in, and I can get that in cash.
and you can cash in Bitcoin too.
Okay, all right. Well, I won't.
I wouldn't buy it either. I know a little bit about it. I took a little online course, but it's still way too confusing.
Right.
I'd rather just put the money in the bank.
Yeah. Anyway, Charlie, thank you so much for being here tonight. Appreciate it as usual. Scott, great that you're here. You were also on our Monday show, weren't you?
No, I was out Monday. I
Oh,
wasn't-
okay. But it's good to see you here.
Half
Terrific.
off at the bars.
The best. Thank you, Jeff. Nice having you here.
Thank you.
And thanks to Alan and Bree. Always nice to have Malaysia as a listener to the program. Everybody give a big wave goodbye. I'll give a big wave goodbye at you, okay? There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel for tonight. We'll have another one tomorrow night, none on Friday because it's the 4th of July. But we'll be back again tomorrow night. Meanwhile, Amy is next with The Intersection. You can call her on Zoom, and to get to her on Zoom, go to gabnet.net. Column 3, bottom of the page, says Alex Bennett, says Amy Manuel. Click on Amy Manuel, and you'll be taken directly to her Zoom account. I'll see you tomorrow night, same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, of course, be sure to tell her I love her, okay? Bye-bye.